everybody. Welcome to the Swexan Podcast. And maybe you're actually watching this on YouTube. Maybe you're listening to it on the podcast. The reason for this is the first time I am trying to do a YouTube broadcast. And the reason for that is I have invited a guest, and she is all around the world. She is sitting in Stockholm, Sweden. Welcome, Tone Ortner.
Thank you so much.
How are you doing?
I'm very well. It's very warm, but I'm very well.
How warm is it? Tell me about the weather in Sweden right now. It's summer.
It's summer. Right now, it's 5:15 in the afternoon.
So you're 7 hours ahead of us here in Texas.
Yes. And it's 33 degrees Celsius.
Which is 91
Now.
degrees. Yeah, and that's
Now.
91 degrees Fahrenheit for those of you who are not in Celsius. And for Sweden, that's hot. That's hot.
That's
Y'all
very,
are like,
very warm.
because have in mind that Sweden doesn't have air conditioning.
Yes, we do, but I don't use it.
Not real. Not as here. Because in Sweden's houses are more of getting warm than cool off. We rely more of the insulation of the house to cool it off than what the Americans does. Here, the houses are not insulated very well. So we have the problem like in the winter to get it warmer, while Sweden has a problem in the summer to get it cooler.
Yeah, but in the two houses I have here, I live on a small horse farm. We have it's kind of air conditioning. It's called luftvärmepump in Swedish. So that will give you heat.
It's like
in the winter
air
and cool air in the summer.
Yeah. That is something that came to Sweden in the late 90s, something like that. If I'm not totally wrong. So it's an expensive system. It's kind of an air conditioning unit that we have here, where you can just do heat and cold. But yeah, that's how it is. But the sun is shining for you. I see some sun in the background there.
Yes.
So
I'm hiding in the shade.
That's good. Well, I'm inside because we have the same temperature as you do. It's about, let's see what my watch says. Well, right now it's about 80 degrees, but it's also just 10:15 a.m. So it's like our hottest time of the day comes in the afternoon as well. So where in Sweden are you located right now?
I'm located north of Stockholm in
Out in the country.
Out in the country. Yeah. It's just by a lake that's called Vallentunasjön, and I have a small horse farm here with just 2 horses.
Oh, that's sweet.
Yeah.
So I brought you on here today. I've known you forever, like 20 plus years, something like that, I guess. I haven't counted.
Since 97, so I don't know what that is.
You didn't even know it. Seriously?
Oh, yes, I do. Oh,
wow.
yes, I do.
Okay, so we've known each other for a long time. We met in the barn. We had our horses in the same barn. So we have the horses in common. That's how I got to know you, and I got to know your mom and dad and the whole family as well. But I brought you on here because talk about a subject or a topic that was a little bit of a culture shock for me moving here. And that is the church. The Americans goes to church. Most of the Americans, not everybody, most of them go to church every Sunday. And I'm not used to that at all.
No.
And tell me about you. You are a pastor? Priest? What? Tell me. Help me.
I'm almost a priest. In 2 years, I'm a priest in the Swedish church, an ordained priest in the Swedish church. We're a Lutheran church. We're Protestant, and because a pastor is something else here. A pastor is someone also with a collar, but the Swedish church don't recognize them as a Christian. In Swedish, it's called samfund. So they are members of the Free Church, like the Philadelphia Church, or we have the Ecumenia Church.
So, like here, we have all these different churches, but they're still Baptist church. It's basically the same thing, I guess to say. But you have the Swedish church, which is the main church, and they got separated from the state, right?
Yes.
When was that? Like 90s?
Year 2000.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was still there. Before then, you automatically became a member of the Swedish church, right?
Yes.
Now
You were born into it.
into the Swedish church, and now you have to kind of like apply or tell, hey, I want to be a member, right?
You say, hi, I want to be a member. You don't have to apply. It's just one page you have to fill out. And no, you have it's on the taxes. Your membership goes on the taxes.
Like, so instead of pay a fee, it comes on your taxes, because we're not even going to go.
And it's not much. It's like I think it's less than 2%. It's like just a few hundred a year, and then you get a lot of things for free. But now, to become a member, the easiest way for someone to become a member is to get baptized. Yeah. If you're not already baptized in a church, that we say that, okay, you're baptized in the right way.
Okay.
So you don't get baptized twice, like, because that's not allowed.
Approved churches around there. Okay.
Yes, we have like the Church of Finland, the Church of Denmark, the Anglican Church in England. So we have a few churches that we recognize as churches, or
churches, yeah.
Samfund.
Yeah. So when I lived in Sweden, we did not go to church unless we had a reason to, and that could be a baptism, somebody got baptized. You could have a marriage, a wedding, or funeral, or we went to church on Christmas and New Year as well. I even lived next door to a church for 2 years. I tried to go in there to see at least how it looked like inside. It was locked. I never, during the 2 years I lived on that property, never put my feet in that church. Why do you think that Swedes doesn't go to church?
Because we're a very secularized country, extremely. And we have 10 million people living in Sweden. It's a very small country. And 5 million, 50%, are a member of the Swedish church, not because of faith, all those 5 million, but because of tradition, because you want to get married, because you can't get married in the Swedish church if no one of the bride or the groom are a member. One of them has to be a member. And it's the same thing with baptizing children or getting a funeral in the Swedish church. You have to be a member. And you can lay on the graveyard to a church, the Swedish church, but you don't get like the perks and the benefits of having.
So you can use the cemetery space, but you don't get the advantages of it.
Yes. Yeah. So I don't know why they don't go, because I think it's mainly because we don't have like the same faith. We don't have this God bless America, USA thingy here. We don't have this. We are a monarchy, and we have our chief of the church, our protector, and
that's a king,
and
right?
That's the king. Yeah, that's the king. And when he dies, it will become the queen.
And it was her birthday.
Crown Princess Victoria. What?
Yeah, it was her birthday last week. We celebrated her birthday last week. I know, on the 14th.
Yeah. So that's the head of the church. And it's also because of tradition.
It's a lot
He
of
doesn't have the right to uh, make any changes, or he doesn't have the right to make some new order, because we have all these hierarchies uh, to decide those things, and we have like big meetings with all the priests and the bishops and stuff like that to decide how we're going to do things in the Swedish church. But he is the head of the church. That's just the way it is.
and we don't
Because
have
the king has always, since Vasa, since King Vasa in the 1500s, I don't know this, uh, how do you say them? Is it the 16th century that is the
1500s,
1500?
16th century. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So in the 1500s, Vasa said, okay, now the church will belong to the state. And he also kicked out all the Catholics and said, we are now Protestants. Because he had to gain a lot of money, because the church was very, very wealthy. So he took all the bishops and all the priests in the Catholic Church and kicked them out of the country or murdered them. And then we
That's
had
cool.
Protestant priests and Lutheran priests, and the church and the state became one. So the church and the state were one for almost 500 years.
That's a long time.
That's long. That's longer than the Americas even existed. So
Yeah, it is. It is.
yeah.
Wow. I didn't even think
Professor,
about that.
yeah. So Luther said, he said, the Bible is for everyone. You have to have servants that is servants in language of the native people, so they can understand what you say, because all the other sermons was in Latin before, and people were sitting for 3-4 hours and didn't understand jack shit. So he said no, and he nailed his thesis on the
Testament on the
church.
wall. Yeah.
Yeah, in Wittenberg. So he said that everyone has to understand what it says. So King Vasa was the first one who made a Bible in Swedish. It's called the Silver Bible or the Vasa Bible. And they have one copy of it in the museum in Wittenberg. It's really cool. And they have also the original Bible that Luther wrote himself in
That's
German.
that's kind of cool. That is cool.
Because
I didn't even know
everyone
that.
had the right to the testaments.
Yeah.
Everyone had the right to read the testaments in their own language,
Yeah.
and that was not the Catholic Church. They were very against it.
Yeah. So I have to refer to when I grew up. I've been away from Sweden for almost, well, 12 and a half years, almost 13 years. When I grew up, I don't know if it was just because of my family that I came from. We had a couple of things that was almost taboo to talk about. Politics, you did not talk about politics and your opinions. The second thing is actually church. You did not talk about your beliefs. Is that still something in Sweden? And I'm thinking more about the youth, the young people, that they don't really want to talk about if they are Christian or not. It's a little bit, am I right? Am I wrong? Correct me here.
That's not my experience. All the youth that I meet, they're very open and they're very proud, and they want to explain. If it's I get on Tinder sometimes because I'm single, very sadly.
So
But
now you know if you're in Sweden, there you
yeah, and if
go.
you're interested, I'm here.
And we see her it's that way. Her down there is her Facebook. So yep. It's exactly what corner are we in?
But I get the question a lot when I say I'm studying to become a priest, and you have to really make the distinction of a Catholic priest that you normally call a priest and a priest here in Sweden. It's not the same. It's the same name, But it's not the same. I can drink alcohol, I can have a family, I can swear, I can do whatever I want. It's not that. My faith and my belief is not in
As
that
strict
I
as
have
the Catholic, right?
yeah. And
Yeah, the
I'm a
Catholic
woman,
is
so
quite strict. You're not allowed to do a
yeah.
lot of things.
And
While
I'm
the
not allowed to
Protestant
be a woman either. So, but I am a woman. I'm almost a priest.
yeah,
And
no,
my
for
mother is a
those,
priest, and I'm the ninth in a straight line from 1740, like the year 1740 to now. It's been a straight line of priests, and I'm the last one.
so
Well,
did you
hopefully not last.
feel obligated to become a priest just
No,
because of that?
I had my calling.
You had your call in, and
Yeah,
yeah, because
it took me 20 years to answer that calling.
because I know when you grew up, we were both teenagers. Sorry, Tona, but you were kind of wild. You were a wild
Oh,
kid.
still am. Still am.
Yeah, and I was about to say that for all our podcast listeners. If you would meet, I said it in the last podcast as well. If you meet Tona on the street and you did not know anything about her, you have tattoos. They're really cool tattoos. Sometimes I've seen your hair. My hair is red, and I God knows what colors you've had on your hair.
Mine is blonde right
Now
now.
it's blonde. For the day it's blonde. You have awesome taste for fashion. So if you just meet you on the street, I would never have guessed that you would be a priest. Never. Do you
No,
agree with me? Do you get?
no, I get
Are
that a
people
lot.
surprised when they meet you and you say, I'm studying to become a priest"? Are they surprised about that, judging on your look?
Yes, yes, a lot. I get judged by that a lot, and as I said on Tinder, I get the question, "Oh, so you have a faith, or do you believe in God?" And I was like, "No, no." That's why I'm becoming a priest. That's why I'm studying for 6.5 years and then doing like the what the doctors do
It's a
like
magic.
this year. Yeah, for 1 year. So 7.5 years of studying because I don't believe. Yeah. Yeah. Uh, of course, you fucking idiot.
Oh my god! So how does a
You
Swedish?
probably have to bleep that out as
I
well.
don't care. It's my show, and that's what I'm saying. Like I heard you become a priest, and one thing of me was like, I'm not surprised because I know your mother Anna is a priest. She's such a wonderful woman. So that part of me is like, I'm not really surprised about that because she has it in the family. Though I didn't know you have it that many generations in the family. But then I
9
thought about
generations.
how do I know Tona? She was a wild child.
And I still am a wild child.
How is this gonna work? But on the other hand,
I
that is
could say
also
to all you people listening, I've done 1 year of a really hard antagning in English.
application
Help
process.
me.
Application
Yes,
process.
application process for one of the 13 bishops that we have in Sweden, and I've been okay. They said you're a very good person. You have your faith on the right side, and you're gonna be a wonderful priest. So
And
it's
I
not that I'm
believe that.
just
So
it's not that I'm just making this up, because you have to get approved by one of the bishops before you can become an ordained priest.
and I
So
was just about to ask you that. You say 7 years of study in total, and you have
7.5.
oh sorry, seven
Mm.
7 years and 6 months, ladies and gentlemen, to become an ordained priest.
Very important.
Very important. Heck yeah, it is. What else? And you have to be approved by a bishop. Anything else that goes into this except a lot of studies?
There's a lot of studies, and then you have to do vad fan heter det då? Praktik.
Yeah, exactly.
When you go and you pretend to work, but you don't get paid as a regular
Internship.
person.
It's kind of an internship.
Yeah, it's kind of an internship. You have to do. You have to do a lot of internship doing, and you have to get a lot of experience. Uh, to before you become ordained, and you have to do all your university studies, and then you have to go to the final year, that is like the church own, it's called slutåret, and that's what it's
It's a
called.
final
You
year.
have like your theology studies, but yeah, it's called the final year, and after that you get a date and you get ordained, and it's a very big thing, and you're in one of the cathedrals, and then you do your um AT-tjänst. Alltså det heter, I'm sorry for speaking Swedish now. I need some help with English.
We don't even have
Det heter,
that in Sweden, in US, but it's yeah. It's the
it,
first year while you're under probation.
yeah,
It's a probationary year, basically.
yeah, you have, you're ready, you are ordained, you can do everything. You're allowed to do absolutely everything, and you have your like a job and everything, but you have handledare.
Yeah.
I'm sorry for the Swedish.
Why am I losing all the words right now?
It's
A field
like
train officer. A field train officer.
Like, yeah, it's like another ordained priest that will help you and give you advice if you need it. They will not tell you what to do, but they will help you along. Because when you meet, it's like when you meet your first.
It's a preceptor. You have a preceptor. That's the word.
Yeah. So when you meet like your first widow, and you're gonna have like this talk about how the funeral is gonna be and what hymns to choose and everything. That could be a really tough time when you do it by yourself for the first time. So then you can go to this person, this
preceptor,
preceptor, and ask, do you have any advice? Do you have anything I should think about while I'm doing this? Blah 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 blah. So you're not all by yourself, but that's just the first year. After that, you have to apply for a job, a real job. This is like a job that the church appoints to you. They will say, the bishop will say, okay, you're like this. I think you will get a lot of benefits of being here for this year. So and then you will be there for a year, and then you have to apply for a real job. Okay. Gotcha. Where you want to be. And we have 13. No, we have 12 different stift.
It's like a county, just related to stift is kind of like an area for the church. It's county, but it's for the church. Yeah, I have no clue about.
So we have 12 of those, but we have 13 bishops. We have 12 bishops and 1 archbishop, and then they are chosen in a democratic order between priests. They are allowed to vote if they work in that stift,
in that county or area, or
area. It's called stift.
That's a hard word. That is a really stift. A stift. The Swedish language.
So my stift where I gonna be ordained is Uppsala stift.
Yeah, we have if you want to know any Swedish to English word, there is a site that's called tyda.se, and I was just looking it up here, and it's episcopate is or biscopy is the translated word for stift.
Yes, episcopate. Yes. Yeah. I'm very sorry. My church English is very poor. My English. I haven't spoken English for. I think I counted like 6 or 7 years. I haven't spoken
You
English
lose the
like this.
language if you don't use it.
So I'm very sorry. I'm doing my best.
Hey, I feel since my mom passed away last year, I speak Swedish on a regular basis. Even though I think in Swedish, it's still like, I don't get what I'm trying to say here. And yeah, so some words that are into a specific area, it is harder than other areas, right? So
Yes.
yeah. So
Because
how does
the church language is very specific.
it's a
We have our
vocabulary like
own
it's not
words.
used anyway.
We have our own words even in Swedish that we don't have in the daily language. It's just for the church.
Yeah.
And then for me to try to translate that into English, it gets my brain fucked.
Well, we do our best, and that's what I say. This podcast,
Yeah.
you never know what
It
we're
could
gonna.
be very much worse. I could talk like this, yes. Like a real Swedish person.
You are so unpredictable, Tuna. So unpredictable. Good Lord. Good Lord. I'm just saying. So, what does the Swedish church do to recruit members? Because is it just like everybody in Sweden knows that yes, you can become a church member? Do they do anything actively to recruit members?
Yes, we do actually. We have our website where you can just apply to become a member if you want to. We have a lot of open vad fan heter det då? Open servant spots for baptism. That's a way to recruit members, that it's easy to baptize your children, or you can have like a grown-up baptism if you want to. And we do a lot with the youth, like we have the confirmations, and when they get the words like spread around, because youth will recruit youth.
Mm-hmm.
If you understand what I mean. So
absolutely,
when I started in the församling, in the church where I work, where I work now, we had 3 confirmation candidates and no youth leaders. Now we are confirming 12 youth at a time.
Wow.
And we have 15 youth leaders in just a year and a half.
Wow.
I worked my ass off.
That is a huge improvement. That's amazing.
And I really worked my ass off.
I bet you did. I know you, so yeah.
So yes, we are recruiting, but not like with a sign that says, hello, I can dance as well.
So you're not going to dress up in something and go out on the street and have a sign and dance for them and hope?
No.
Oh no. We're going to take a short break here because I need to reload one of the technicalities. So for those of you on YouTube, stay put. For those of you on our podcast, we'll be back in about 20 seconds. So this is what so on my phone, this is how I record this. This is for all of y'all YouTubers. This is
how it's exclusive.
Exactly. This is how I record everything. Boom. We're gonna do, and then we have to name it because the platform only allows me to record 30-minute segments. So that's why I have to.
And that's nothing when I'm in the picture.
Exactly. Well, the conversations we've had around this.
The conversation we had at New Year's were like 3 hours.
Oh, I'm glad we did
You
record that.
celebrated too. You celebrated two New Year's.
I did. I did. I had a
Mm.
blast and I didn't even have to work. That was kind of like the awesome thing here.
Mm.
Let's see here. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. So now we're back after a little bit of jingle on the podcast and a little bit of
And
extra
if you
stuff.
become what is it called? If you become you have this account. What is it? Patreon. If you become a
Okay.
patron, you will hear everything we just talked about.
I don't have a Patreon account for this yet. Maybe I should start
Oh
doing that.
God.
No, if you look on YouTube, you get it. You'll get it. I think that's enough. Uh, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. I'm kind of proud of myself. I added this YouTube account. We'll see how this goes. I think it is going okay. But I'm gonna stick it in now then, since I can. If you haven't checked us out on our Facebook and Instagram, do that on Swexan Podcast. I will make a shortcut to the to YouTube too, but I haven't done that yet. So at the time of this recording, congratulations, you found us on YouTube anyway. So do you have social media? Can people find you on social media? And my next
Yes.
question is going to be, how does the Swedish church social medialize? Is that a word? I don't know, but yeah. How
Yes.
are they on Sweden?
You just invented it, and it is. And yes, we do. All the Swedish church, as a national basis, have its own account on
Svenska
Instagram
kyrkan.
and Svenska kyrkan in Instagram and Facebook. And since Corona, almost all congregations have their own uh, Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook account.
So
And
how
do a
has
lot of things. You can have like you can go and watch concerts. You can go and ask for the uh, cantor. Is that a word in English? The
yeah,
musician,
musician,
the
yeah,
organist,
organist, yeah.
the organist to play your favorite hymn. They have a lot of things.
So that's something I want to talk to you about, is the actual church buildings. Because here, it can be any kind of building, metal. It can basically be a shed in the boonies, and we Christianize it, and now this is a church, and you put a cross on top of it, and boom, there it is. You will never find that in Sweden. The Swedish churches are beautiful, and I guess that comes from being together with the state. How does that affect people going to church? This beauty and this artistry that we actually have in the Swedish church.
Um,
When Swedes go outside and they come over here to US, for example, and we go, yeah, that's the church, and whatever they see is just a tin building, and you can barely see a cross.
Yeah, here we have like some new churches. You have to think in perspective. In in church years, 50 years or even 100 years is still new.
Yeah.
That's not old. That's still a new church. So if you have like a church from the 90s, it's like brand new. It's
That's a baby.
hardly been
It's a
That's
baby.
hardly
It's
been
an
used.
infant.
The church I work in now, the oldest parts are from the 1100s.
Wow.
So that's the 12th century.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So that's really old. It's before you even discovered the America.
Just to put the Americans a little bit in
Yeah.
perspective here. Yeah.
Um. So a lot of churches they've been closed now because of Corona, but and now when they open up, they are open because of their architecture, the paintings, the inventory that's really old. They are all the old churches are like museums, and you have small guides like hefte paper.
Pamphlet.
Yeah, that will guide you around the church. So we have where I work, for example, a very famous painter, and he painted churches around the area of Roslagen. It's Stockholm and the archipelagos and so on, in the 1100s and the 1200s, so the 12th and 13th century, and he's called Albertus Pictor, and that's Latin for Albertus the painter.
Well,
And it's really, really famous. Silla, have you been to Täby kyrka?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So the paintings in the ceiling, that's about Albertus Pictor.
Gotcha.
That's the thing. You have this world famous painting in the staircase up to the organ läktare. Fan.
Yeah, to the organ is what it is. It's like a balcony.
Up to the organ.
A balcony.
Then you have it's called in Swedish Döden spelar schack. So
the
in
deaf
English,
play chess.
The deaf play chess, and it's world famous. And you have like the Ingmar Bergman picture, where he does his own interpretation of the deaf plays chess. In the film Sjunde inseglet, it's also world famous.
Yeah.
When it's like the I think the it goes like, har du kommit för att hämta mig?
Have you come to get me?
Jag har gått vid din sida länge.
Yeah.
Ja, jag har gått vid din sida länge.
I've got side by side with you for a long time. Yeah. But
kan vi inte ta ett parti först?
I ain't playing chess. I'm just saying, not with the death.
No, but he tries to fool death.
Yeah.
To play chess.
Play chess.
So he will escape death. But no one can escape death.
No, that's kind of impossible.
That's a fun subject we can talk about. Death.
Escape death?
What do you think happens after death?
I've already died twice.
Yeah, but what happened?
I don't know. I was dead.
You tell. I only died twice as well. So
yeah. So no, let's not try. I'm not in the mood of trying to see what happens after death because
no, not trying. What you
talk about it?
I have my picture of heaven and paradise.
Isn't it like everybody has their individual picture about heaven and paradise and all that?
Yeah, but we have also my point. What the church says about life, about death,
and that's in every church, I guess. Not like within every Swedish church, but within the Swedish and the American
Christians. The Christian church. Yeah, what the Bible says.
Yeah, but the Bible is all for interpretation and how you interpret it in your community and in your church.
Absolutely.
And we can have a long conversation about that. That's what I say. You and I should have like a separate podcast, just sitting and chit chat about random stuff, because you never know what that can end up to. So
no.
What is
and we should have like a podcast where we can speak Swedish, because that will be even more fucked up, and just with subtitles in English.
Oh Lord, I almost feel for whoever listened to that, because that it will be so much fun. I am laughing at you. That's how it would end. I know that, because you're hilarious. So what is?
Oh well, thank you. I try.
Yeah. What's the next?
I don't holiday? Try. It just happens.
You just are. What's the next holiday in Sweden coming up?
The next holiday, it depends
like related
on how
to church.
That
is it All Saints Day?
How? What?
All Saints Day, Alla helgona?
No, that depends on how you count, actually. because every Sunday has its own theme or its
Yeah,
own,
that's right.
like, you celebrate different things every Sunday.
Yeah.
So that depends on what you say it's a holiday. For church people, it could be just the next Sunday, but the next big holiday, I would say, uh, is Allhelgona.
Which is All Saints Day, and we have the tradition to go to our graveyards on that day. And I have,
We
or
do that
to
here
the
as well.
cemetery. Yeah,
Yeah,
and I haven't seen that. Maybe it's just me being very uneducated, so kill me for that. But I haven't seen people here in the US do that. We do Halloween on the last day of October, and that's something that is coming more in Sweden. But how does the Swedish church look at the American tradition of Halloween? We were talking
we
about
don't
that, and
yeah, we don't really look uh, at any way on
it
that,
just is.
because it just is. It's we I think we see it as a fun holiday for children.
Yeah,
They
Hannah
can go trick and
Canyon.
treat and stuff like that. But in Sweden here, it's autumn and it's cold and it's really, really dark.
Rainy.
Um,
It's a time
Not
of rain.
always.
Yeah,
Yeah. Not now because of the global warming. It's not always raining, but it's dark and it's cold. And when you go to the graveyards, it's so beautiful because it's lights everywhere.
hmm,
There's always someone that goes to someone's grave and put a light on it. It
it's
is really
almost
beautiful. And we have this tradition. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but in the bigger churches where we have a lot of priests, we have uh, on that weekend that the priest will wander around the graveyard and talk to the ones that are there mourning, or if they are there putting lights on the graves, and they can have like their own little talk, and it's really really nice.
nice. I didn't know that actually. I've
Mm.
probably been to the cemetery on All Saints Day, but that's many years ago. Many years ago.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
not gonna lie on a graveyard or a cemetery. I'm gonna get to ashes and be put in the sea.
put in the sea. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, because I don't want children, so I don't want everyone, no one, sorry, I don't want no one to feel obligated to take care of my grave,
and that's
because
something.
that's a big task to ask of someone.
Yeah, and that's something like here in US, you can have an urn on your uh, like in your house. That's illegal in Sweden. You're not allowed to have
Yes,
the remains of somebody in your house.
no,
I
that's
have the remains of
really
both my
illegal.
grandmother and mom here in the US. That would not be legal in Sweden. And just to get my grandmother's ashes over here when she passed away, that procedure was big, and both of them wants to be spread over the Swedish Danish border. So that is one of my things I have
Okay,
to.
but like Öresundsbron, like
Yes,
the border in between,
yeah. So
like Öresund.
yeah, that's a mission of mine to make that happen. Um, but yeah, it's
Then you need to get in touch with the Danish or the Swedish um,
government.
authorities
Yeah,
and get a permission, because
yeah.
that's not easy to get a permission to spread someone's ashes in the water. I can
I
tell you,
know.
I've seen it many times.
We did that
Uh,
with my grandfather, so I know the process. But just for a Swede to come over here and they're like, "What did you do with your mom and your grandma?" I was like, "Yeah, mom is standing over there and grandma's standing over there." They're like, "What?"
mm,
That's fine here in US, but
if
that's
no
literally
authority
illegal.
peoples, you know, Anneli, our common friend, who passed
Mhm,
away way too soon. Yeah,
mhm.
uh, because no one in her family I was as close family as you can get to them, because I've known Annika, her little sister, since I was 6. We're the same age. No one had the strength to go and get her from the cemetery. Is it where do you
Are you talking about the funeral home?
no, the crematory.
Crematory? Yeah, that would be the funeral home.
Yeah, the crematory. Yeah, we have separate crematories here in Sweden. So I went to get her, and I had her for 2 days sitting, and it's so illegal.
Yeah. So here's another thing that's
because someone, it's not illegal because it's a dead person and it's their ashes. It's because as long as they're above ground, if they're not in water or in the dirt, they still count as people. They count as persons, and you can steal them. My father's cousin were stolen from a backpack, and they had the permission to spread her ashes in a special part of the woods. I think it like in Göteborg somewhere. And
awkward. Why do you want to steal ashes?
They stole the backpack, but the ashes were in the backpack.
Surprise!
And so that is like a missing persons report.
Oh my
That's
God.
the same thing as a living person. That's how we see it in Sweden.
But think about opening that backpack and see,
So yeah, they found it.
I was just about to ask, was it recovered?
They left it when they saw what was in. They left it at a gas station when they saw what was in the backpack. But it was like the police and missing people and everything, because it's just as serious. Because you're, as long as you're not in the ground, you're still a person.
So I have another question now when we're talking about death, and we're coming in very positive. As I said in the beginning, I have no clue what we're going to talk about. Here in the US, a person passes away. We're just going to say 1st of July. Then the funeral or the memorial will be basically, I could say, within 1.5 weeks from there. In Sweden, we're talking 1 or 2, maybe even further away before the funeral is. Why is that it takes so long time for the funeral to take place?
We have legally
time a morning.
No. We have legally 4 weeks. On the day 4 weeks after the death occurs, you have to be in the ground. So you have 4 weeks to fix with the funeral home and the funeral and talk with the priest and everything. And for some people, that takes time, because maybe you have, if you say like you had a brother and your mother passed away, and you have opinions on which hymns, which church, which coffin, and how to do with all the things
people traveling
in her home, and they can argue about everything. And if they're gonna lie like Anneli for more than 4 weeks, she was 6 weeks, then you have to contact Länsstyrelsen. It's one of the government.
It's a county commissioner.
To get approval to have them above ground for longer than 4 weeks.
I didn't know that they had those rules. Yeah. Because it's 4 weeks is kind of a normal time that it takes. And when I came here, and funeral could be like very often. Funeral is
Muslim funerals is within 3-4 days.
Exactly, and that's where
they have to be like in the ground.
Smack, boom, go down. So but here it is a little bit different on that part. That Sweden takes longer time to have the funeral, and yet you just don't expect in Sweden to have it within 4 weeks.
Most of the funerals occurs like within 2.5-3 weeks. It's very rare for 4 weeks, and it's very, very rare to be more than 4 weeks.
Yeah. So let's talk about weddings instead. That's more fun.
Yes.
A lot of people are getting married in Sweden. Is it picking up now after Corona? How is Sweden with Corona opening up more and more? Is weddings coming more and more in Sweden?
I would say so, yeah. And we have such a great because when priests, if we're gonna go back to priests, if priests gonna get their license to marry, because when you marry a couple, you work for the state. You don't work for the church. You work for the church as well, but you work for the state because it has to be a legal matter.
Yeah.
Annars, if you otherwise it's not approved.
Yeah.
If you don't work for the state, you can have like, oh, I want my friend to marry us, and it's gonna be fun, and we're gonna have balloons. But then you have to go like to the courthouse to get married first, and then you can have like a whatever ceremony you want
over here.
Yeah, but in as a priest in the Swedish church, you get your license from the state. So you work for the state and the church when you marry a couple. And to get your license, you have to sign a document that says you're going to marry anyone.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter race, doesn't matter sexuality, doesn't matter if they're upside down. The only thing you have to make sure of is that they're sober when they get married.
It's sober to get married.
Yeah, it's not Vegas.
I'm sorry. That's funny.
So that's the thing. You have to, and I've signed that paper, and I'm not an ordained priest yet.
Yeah.
I had to sign that paper that I will work with anyone and I will marry anyone. Doesn't matter, 2 women, 2 men, 2 of different, you call it races in English.
Yeah.
Races. Doesn't matter. You have to marry everyone.
So I have
or
to
anyone.
ask you something that popped up in my head that's not close to marriage whatsoever. But how is the perception of female priests in Sweden? Because
very good. We are majority. No, we are majority with a half.
You're a majority now among priests.
Yeah,
that's cool.
We are 50.5%.
That's 0.5. So you have more female priests than male priests. Oh, what about that?
And we have, I think, our archbishop in Sweden are female. My bishop in Uppsala is female. I think the majority of the bishops in Sweden is female. So we are majority.
Because I haven't seen a lot of pastors over here that are female. I can't even, maybe one, maybe one, if even that. I don't know.
I will come and visit you soon, and then I will fuck things up, and then I will come with my collar and fuck things up even more.
I doubt it. You'll do a great job.
No, I mean in America. Not in Sweden.
Oh, come on over. Like, I'll have you over anytime, and we will do another podcast about.
Oh, that would be so much fun.
Oh yeah,
we'll do the like camera.
A vlog of everything, and hell
yeah. I'm just gonna get my second shot.
I was just about to say, just get vaccinated and come on over. I have a bed back here you can sleep in.
Yeah, in August I will get my second shot.
Yeah, absolutely. No, you're always welcome whenever. We're gonna have a fun trip whenever you get over here. That's going to be fun. What else would you like for the American people to know about the Swedish church that they might not know or did not expect?
No,
or did not expect.
We have a lot of homosexual priests.
There
We
you go.
have had homosexual bishops.
Because it's very open. Sweden is a
We are
very
very
equal
liberal.
country. Very liberal, and everything has to be very
And
equal.
everyone, I will say this now, the bishops, they are voted for. They are selected. They are not just appointed. They are carefully selected by the other people that work in the church, not the Swedish people en masse, but the ones that work in the church. So we have had a lot of homosexual bishops that are also female, and we have a lot of homosexual priests. And that's really important.
Yeah.
We are an open and liberal country and church, and we will welcome you as you are. It doesn't matter if you don't accept all the parts of the credo. I know that you use credo in English as well. And just come as you are.
Yeah.
I have chosen to believe in the credo just as it is because it's more fun. For me, my life gets more enriched and more fun if I believe in the credo with the virgin birth and everything.
That's cool. Thank you for saying that, because I totally forgot about it. And it is a very Swedish thing, just this openness and welcomeness. And it also mirrors in the church. And that's a big thing. Absolutely. So to end,
we're not the Catholic Church.
No, we're not the Catholic Church. That's true. But to end this, every podcast I end with kind of like a Swedish word of the week. So I figured the word of the week is going to be church. And it is not an easy word to say in Swedish. Can you say church in Swedish for me?
Kyrka.
There you go. Kyrka. And that sh sound is kind of tricky for some people to say. So kyrka.
No, it's like the same. Church.
Church.
Kyrka.
Kyrka.
Even harder word is tone.
Tone. That's like a
because
tone.
it always becomes tona.
Tuna. No, it will be tone.
No,
if I just look at it,
when English people say this, it's like tona. Okay, tona.
Tuna.
No, not tuna.
Well, how do you think that? Cecilia ain't that hard, but my last name, I'm
Wichman.
Wichman is what my last name. I was like, no, it's Wichman. But yeah. With that, thank you so much, Tone, for
thank you.
Along. I am so honored to have you here. And whenever you come over to Texas, just let me know when to pick you up from the airport, and I'll be there, and we'll have a blast, and we'll do another of these. It's going to be that could be a documentary instead of just a podcast.
That will be fucked up.
So to everybody else out there, I hope you're doing great. Be well, be safe. Don't do anything I wouldn't do, which means don't do anything illegal, because the rest I would probably do, right?
And after Corona, you're welcome to Sweden.
Absolutely. I'll hook you up with Tuna so you can meet her as well. So with that, have a good day. Bye, everybody.
Bye.